Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Crowd Chatter Podcast. And today is week two picks for college football. Of course, we had the first week, and what a doozy it was. A fantastic week of college football, and we're going to have some more fun this week with another great week of college football. Um, yeah, let's get this started. I don't have Sam's picks currently, and obviously it's just me today. There is nobody else on, so it'll be. I don't have Sam's picks either, so I'll have to put those on here later, and you'll just maybe I'll post them the on the Instagram page or something. Which we do have a plan to try and make the Instagram channel a bit more active because I know we like never post anything on there, and I'm not big into social media, but I know everybody else is. So, I have an idea to try and get the Instagram page a bit more active, to get more stuff on there. So far, it won't load my post for whatever reason. I've been trying like several times, it isn't working. So I'll have to figure that out. Um, but I do have something that I have planned. Whether it works or not, I don't really know. But I do have an idea for that purpose, and we'll see if that pans out. So let's get this video started, though. And as always, you guys know what we always have to start with, and that is shockers of the week. Obviously, we don't have Calvin on here, and I don't know. I might have mentioned this in the last video. Um, but I want to try and get like be really fun. And if you guys know, like this is basically our ripoff of College Game Day. So all we really do, like our shockers of the week here. If you ever seen their Super Dogs, essentially, like I don't know, do they call them Super Dogs of the week? I don't think they do. But when they have like their Super Dog picks, that's what our shockers of the week pretty much is. That's like our ripoff of that. And then our picking of games is our rip-off version of them picking games for the whole like 10 minutes that they're on. Of course, they take way less time than we do. So and then we have our own little point system for shockers. Like I said, it's just a college football or college game day rip-off, and it's fun. And anyway, let's get this started, and we start with our shockers. And I don't really know what I'm even gonna do with mine. So I know what Serbensky's is. I do have his picks, so I will put his in there. And his shocker this week is Tulane getting the win at home against Ole Miss, which is a awesome shocker pick. I think that is a fantastic choice for him. I think that's a game really that could go either way. And Tulane is a really good team. Tulane is the home team. I don't know what the line is. I think it's like 7 something. But Tulane is a really good team. Obviously, that's a top 25 matchup, and that's a good one. That's a really good pick for him. And if you guys don't know, like the criteria, Ole Miss is a 7.5 point favorite. Okay. If you guys don't know the criteria for this, we thought about making changes to it to kind of make it easier to get us more points, but we didn't bother with that. And so really all this is, so really you we basically like I know on College Game Day you have the option to pick a team to cover their spread and you'll get 5 points, or you can pick them to just straight up win outright and then you get the points of that spread. We don't have the cover thing. We don't have the option to cover. We just simply, take a team to upset somebody, and if we win, if it works, like with Sam last week, he picked Colorado. Colorado won, so he got the points of the spread, which was 21 points. So, yeah, we both, me and Zerbensky, have a lot of catching up to do. And so for my shocker this week, as I said, Serbenski is taking Ole Miss or Tulane over Ole Miss. Um, there's not really a good option on here for a shocker pick. Dang. I was really hoping I would find something that I was like, ooh, I like that, but no, there's absolutely nothing on here. None of these are good. I like absolutely none of these. I mean, that one's the only one. Oh man, Gal, do I really want to do that though? You can see I really thought this one through because I am so prepared, right? Uh, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know what? I'm gonna, yeah, I don't think it's gonna. Well, I don't like anything else on here. That's the best one I have. So this is the one I'm gonna go with, and it's gonna be the game of the, and it's gonna be the game of the week actually that I'm going to do my shocker from. And that is Texas and Alabama. This is round two of this series. Round one was in Austin. This one is in Tuscaloosa. And of course, I'm sure most of you can assume that Bama is the favorite in this game. So I have Texas with the upset in Tuscaloosa for my shocker. Texas is a very good team. Of course, so is Bama. We're really gonna find out how good Bama is against Texas. So, no surprise, that's game of the week. But that should be a really fun game. We'll go into it more later when we actually have to pick that game. But a good game nonetheless. We'll really have to see what it turns out to be. So I'm only going to be picking me and Serbensky. I'll have to get Sam's picks later as well as his shocker. I don't have his shocker either. So it'll be just me and Serbensky with the picks right now. So starting off, we have Utah on the road against Baylor. Baylor got embarrassed at home last week when they gave Texas State their first ever Power 5 win as a Power 5 team. Just losing to Texas State in general is really bad. Baylor clearly is not good. And I am taking Utah just based on the fact that Baylor literally could not even win at home against Texas State and got. They didn't even just lose, they got embarrassed. I mean, they lost by double digits at home to Texas State. Like, that's bad. And no surprise, Serbensky also took Utah over Baylor. Next we have Oregon on the road against Texas Tech. Well, there was a lot of hype around Texas Tech at the beginning of the year, and then they went into Wyoming and lost in double overtime. Well, once again, kind of like the same situation with Utah, based on the fact that Texas Tech couldn't even win at Wyoming. I am going to take Oregon to beat the crap out of them. And no surprise, once again, Sorbensky is doing the exact same thing. He thinks maybe there could be an upset. I really don't. If you can't even beat Wyoming, just no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just no. And so now next we have the Nebraska Cornhuskers after somehow blowing yet another game on the road against Minnesota on Thursday night. And they will be on the road in this one as they'll head over to Boulder to take on the Colorado Buffaloes in their home opener after a huge win last week against this past week against TCU. A huge win for Colorado in Fort Worth. That win was an enormous boost for the Buffaloes. And this is a huge rivalry, but I am taking the Buffaloes to win this one as well. I am not. Honestly, I would not be surprised if this is a really close game. I honestly expect it to be a close game. Just because Colorado, well, not because Colorado, just because Nebraska is so well known to make games so close and then somehow find a way to lose them in the end. And I've been saying this as of lately, and honestly, I think this is a perfect description for Nebraska. They remind me of the old Lions. They really do. Because with the Detroit Lions of old, They literally they would find ways to lose in the most spectacular fashion, and no one would know how it was even possible. Everybody would just be like, "Are you kidding me? How in the world, what did we lose that game?" And that's exactly what Nebraska fans just go through. I mean, it feels like they have the game in control, and then they're just like, "Wait, we lost? How?" They just they're like the college football version of the Lions. I swear. I don't know. They really remind me of the old Detroit Lions. That's a college football version of them, and it's absolutely hilarious. And Servensky also has the Buffaloes winning in Boulder. Next, we have UCLA on the road against San Diego State. I don't have to really think over this one that much because I mean UCLA did nearly lose to well did have some trouble with Coastal Carolina, but Coastal Carolina is a very good group of five team. They're really good out of the Sun Belt. San Diego State nearly lost to Ohio and then nearly lost to I don't know who the heck it was in their to I oh yeah that's right. San Diego State nearly lost to Ohio and Idaho State. If they can't even beat Idaho, if they can barely beat Idaho State and Ohio, they're not beating UCLA. So give me the Bruins to win this one, and that's what Serbenski has as well. He also takes UCLA to get the win on the road against San Diego State. Next, we have the Purdue Boilermakers on the road against the Virginia Tech Hokies. This will be a really fun game. This one is in Blacksburg. Big game for really both teams. Purdue had a rough start to the year as they got upset at home against the Fresno State Bulldogs. Well, it was a bit of a shootout, ended up being 39-35. I don't think that's really on the offense of Purdue. Their defense was absolutely putrid in that game. And Fresno State just kept scoring. I mean, when you score 35 points, you would think that you would win, especially against a team like Fresno State. But Purdue did not. They did not stop them. And so they got upset at home. And this game is going to be really close. Uh, and this is going to be interesting, but I'm taking Purdue. The Boilermakers. Listen to me. Purdue is not a bad team. I mean, I think Fresno State is still a solid Mountain West team. I don't think they're as good as they were last year, but clearly Purdue does not have a great defense. However, the offense is very good. Hudson Card is a fantastic quarterback. Um, and Virginia Tech is not a good team. They're not, and they nearly lost again to Old Dominion. And yeah, the Hokies are a mess. And that's what Zerbensky has as well. He also has Purdue on the road. It is going to be close. I think this is a 50-50 game, but I would. But if you had to make me choose somebody, I would take Purdue. Gonna be a close game though. And then next we have the Oklahoma State Cowboys on the road against the Arizona State Sun Devils. I know that Stravinsky is going to think I'm crazy because he's not a fan of the Arizona colleges, but I don't have to think much about this one. Give me Arizona State. Uh, Oklahoma State has nothing left. They lost absolutely everything that they had from a year ago. Spencer Sanders was the heart and soul of their team, and he transferred to Ole Miss. I mean, Oklahoma State, they barely beat an FCS team. No. I mean, yeah, Arizona State struggled too against an FCS team, but uh, Oklahoma State is not a good team. And Arizona State has a very good quarterback and also has a very good head coach. I like the Arizona State team way more than I do Oklahoma State. Yeah, give me the Sun Devils. I like them way better in this matchup. Uh, Serbansky does not agree with me, and he has the Cowboys getting the win on the road. I don't know if that's just because he thinks Arizona State's bad, or he legitimately just thinks Oklahoma State's better. But Anyways, that's his pick. And then next we have Auburn on the road against Cal. Weird matchup here, but give me Auburn. I know Cal just beat the crap out of North Texas this past week, which blew my shocker. But Auburn is a way better team, I'd think, than Cal. I mean, Cal is a really bottom tier team. Sure, they absolutely hammered North Texas, but Auburn is not North Texas. And I think Auburn should be able to get the win against the Golden Bears. Uh, I know their quarterback is Peyton Thorne. At least I think it is. Is he the one that started for Auburn in their first game? I think it is. I'm not sure. But Auburn, obviously their team's not necessarily great, but they have a head coach who's been in the SEC before, knows what he's doing. And it was Robbie Ashford. It wasn't Peyton Thorne. Oh no, wait, what? Oh, so they played two quarterbacks, I guess. They played both of them. No, they. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Thorne got hurt or something. I don't know. No, they don't. Yeah, it doesn't say. Yeah. Well, maybe they did bring. I don't know. But I think Peyton Thorne is the starter for Auburn. But I think he's gonna be. They're gonna be way better than Cal. So give me the Tigers to win in Berkeley. And Serbenski has the same thing. He has Auburn on the road. And then next we have James Madison on the road against the Virginia Cavaliers. This is a huge game for Virginia. And it's not really even just because, they've already started off the year 0-1 or whatever, or just because, they want to get a win. This is their first game on campus since the big time shooting that killed those three players last year. This is their first game back at home. And, they already did, the honoring the players when they played Tennessee. Um, and now this is their first game back at home. Yeah. I know Virginia's not a great team, but they're at home. And this is their first game back. And very well Virginia is going to play their heart and soul out for this game. And they're gonna put everything they possibly can into this. And yeah, I got the Cavaliers. I know that James Madison is a very good team, and I know Virginia is not special. But I think the Cavaliers, just with their heart, and just because of their big heart, I think their big heart is going to win it out in this one. I think they'll get the better of James Madison. Szymanski's still going with James Madison, which I don't blame him. But I'm gonna go with the Cavaliers in the win in this one. I don't know what the line is on that. I'm actually kind of curious. Next, we have Arizona on the road against Mississippi State. This is actually round two, also from last year. Mississippi State came over to Arizona. Now Arizona's coming over to Mississippi State. Bulldogs. I don't really know what they have, but I'll take the Bulldogs. They tend to have a solid team. And this is their second game, I think, now since the passing of Mike Leach, which was their head coach. Of course, he tragically passed away last year. I think it was of a heart attack, which was really sad and honestly came out of nowhere. Um, but I think Mississippi State will main and this is kind of another team. Virginia's dealing with all the loss of their players. Mississippi State, this is their first game back since their head coach passed. So you know who knows? We'll have to see. But I got Bulldogs, and I think that's what Serbensky has too. I honestly am not sure on that. Let me see. I think that's what he has. Yeah, it is. All right, he does. He has Bulldogs as well. And so next we have SMU on the road against Oklahoma. Um, SMU is not Arkansas State. I still don't think it's going to matter that much. SMU will put up some points, but so Oklahoma. Give me the Sooners. They will have a nice win in this one. SMU will put up a better fight than SMU will put up a better fight than Arkansas State did, but they're still not beating. I think the Sooners. I think Oklahoma still gets the win and still, uh, wins fairly handily in this one. Next we have Notre Dame on the road against NC State. Don't really know about the Wolfpack right now. They did nearly lose to UConn on the road, but UConn did make a bowl game last year, so they might not be that bad of a team. Although I don't think NC State's very good either. They lost Devin Leary. They lost other key players. Their starting QB now is Brendan Armstrong. Transfer from Virginia. So for NC State, if they weren't stuck up against Notre Dame, I would consider taking them. But they're playing Notre Dame, so and Sam Hartman looks nasty good. So give me Notre Dame to win this one. It is a road game, but NC State doesn't really impress me that much. Uh, give me the Irish, and that's what Serbensky has too. He has the Irish in the win uh, in Raleigh. I think that's home for NC State. And then the Friday night game this week, we have Illinois on the road against Kansas. Really fun game right here. This is a really underrated matchup. Illinois just barely escaped against the Toledo Rockets at home. And then Kansas, I think they ended up beating Missouri State. Both these teams are pretty good. Illinois looked a little bit shaky on defense, and looked a little bit. Well, they just looked a little bit shaky in general. But Toledo's not a terrible MAC team. Um, I think this is going to be a really close game. I think Jalen Daniels, as he is the big player for Kansas. Luke Altmaier, though, the Ole Miss transfer at quarterback for Illinois, looks like a legitimate player, and they still have some players on the defensive end. Illinois looks like a legitimate team. I'll take the Illini. They did nearly lose at Toledo, but Illinois has got talent, and Kansas will make this close, and this is gonna be a really really fun game. This is one you don't want to miss. If you're home by 7 Friday night and you want to watch some football or you want to watch some sports on TV, get a little appetizer for Saturday, this is the perfect game to watch because it's gonna be fun. Uh, and so yeah, I got Illinois. Serbensky I know has Kansas. I know he likes Jalen Daniels, and I don't blame him. That's a game I think is a coin toss, coin flip. You can go either way with that. I'll take Illinois though. Then next we have UCF on the road against Boise State. Boise State just got clobbered by Washington. They were making it close early on, but then the Huskies just ran away with it after that first quarter, which was a little shaky. As for UCF, they have a decent team. Their first game, I don't really even know who they played in their first game. Um, I would have to find out. I know they won. Obviously, I can see that they won two, but I don't remember who it was that they played. It was a nobody, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was Kent State. Oh, wow, they killed Kent State. Okay. Um, but Boise State, they didn't look that sharp in their first game against Washington, but that's also Washington. And UCF is a ordinary team. They now are in the Big 12, so, being in the Big 12, you want to make a good impression, but Boise State is infamous for that blue field. And this is the Boise State's first home game. UCF okay, but Boise State, they were making some headway with Washington that first half. UCF might have killed Kent State, but I don't think that's really indicative of how good they are. This should be a fun game. I got the Broncos at home. Give me the Broncos in that blue field. It's the most unique field in all of college football, and it'll get the best of the Golden Knights of UCF. That's not what Serbenski has. He has UCF uh, on the road taking down the Broncos, sending them to 0-2. Next one, we have Appalachian State against number 17, North Carolina. This was an absolute shootout last year and a heck of a game. It was a ton of fun to watch these two squaring off. And now we will see it again, year two of these two. I don't think it's going to be 63 to 61 this year, but I still think it's going to be high scoring. I still give me North Carolina though. I mean, they won on the road last year. This time they'll be in Chapel Hill. I think the Tar Heels get the win. They showed against South Carolina. They have they have a good team. Their defense looked decent. I don't know if their defensive line's that good or South Carolina's offensive line is just that bad, but they were living in Spencer Rattler's backfield. So I think North Carolina could be a bit better on defense, which would be good news for the Tar Heels. And that's what Serbenski has too. He also has North Carolina, and he agrees with me. He doesn't think it's going to be as high scoring either. But the Tar Heels, that should be a fun game still. Expect App State to make that one tough, but I still got North Carolina, especially at home. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bearcats on the road against the Pitt Panthers. Really intriguing game here. Both of these teams have transfer QB. Cincinnati with actually apparently now Emory Jones. I had no idea he was the new Cincinnati QB. And then as for the Pitt Panthers, they bring in Phil Jerkovich, or yeah, Jerkovich. I think that's how it's pronounced. I think that's how his last name is pronounced. Jerkovich from Boston College. In Cincinnati, their first game, they went up against Eastern Kentucky. Obviously, beat the brakes off of them. As for the Pitt Panthers, they played Wofford and beat up on them pretty easily. Um, Pitt doesn't have Israel Abanikanda now. He is gone. Of course, no Jordan Addison. So they've lost their big players. Of course, no Kenny Pickett either. So most of their best players are gone. As for Cincinnati, that's kind of the same thing for them too. They've lost Sauce Gardner. They lost Desmond Ritter. They lost their running back. They lost their defensive players. Most of the guys that made Cincinnati and Pitt both very good are now gone, and so now it's just kind of void at both places. And Cincinnati has a new head coach this year, and uh, not Jeff Brom, is it? It's Satterfield, right? Yeah, it's the Louisville coach, Scott Satterfield, I believe, is the new guy at Cincinnati. But the Bearcats, flip a coin, eeny, meeny, miny, yeah, sure, Pitt. I mean, this is gonna be anybody. Oh, the coin right here. I can't even barely see what. Oh, gal, yeah, that's not gonna work. Is there another coin? Literally, I'm considering like, well, actually, I can kind of see what this is. You know what? So let me flip the coin here. Uh, tails. We'll go with Pitt. Tails will be the. I'll call tails the home team. Heads was for the road. So yep, sure. We're calling. We're gonna keep it as Pitt. If the coin fails me, then the coin fails me. And then as for Serbenski, he also has the Pitt Panthers taking a win at home against Cincinnati. I really don't know much about those teams, but they're both pretty darn good. So, well, they've been pretty good. They're good programs. So, Next, we have Wisconsin on the road against Washington State. The Cougars came up with a huge upset against Wisconsin last year in Madison, and now Wisconsin heads out to Pullman, I think is where Washington State is. And Wisconsin heads out to Pullman to finish round two of this home and home series. And they're going to get revenge. I think the Badgers get the win this time. Washington State does have, I think, the quarterback still from Incarnate Word. I think they still have Cameron Ward. But Wisconsin is still the better team. They also have a new offensive coordinator. They have a better quarterback. They still have Braylon Allen. This team is still very dangerous, and I think they'll get the win on the road against Washington State, and that is what Srbensky has as well. He has the Wisconsin Badgers with the win on the road. Next, we have Texas A&M on the road taking on the Miami, Florida Hurricanes, round two of this home and home series. Both of these teams are supposed to be really good last year, and both of them miserably flopped. And Texas A&M is barely holding on to a ranking because of how good their recruiting class was, and Miami, Florida is coming off a game of which they proved who the real Miami is. A battle of Miami, Ohio, Miami, Florida won. They're the real Miami. So for this game, I think either one of these teams could win. Uh, this is going to be an interesting one. A&M won it last year at home at Kyle Field. Really, nobody shows up for Miami fans. A&M isn't really great with attendance either, I've heard. But I think A&M's a little bit of a better team. They also have a bit of more stability. I think with another year under their belt, they're going to be a lot better. As for Miami, they should be a decent team too, but I don't think they're going to be as good as A&M is. So give me the Aggies. I think they get the win in this one. Srbensky says the same thing. He has the Aggies on the road taking down the Hurricanes of Miami, Florida. And then we have the Battle of the Iowas. Don't know, it's like Battle for the Cyhawk Trophy or something. But the in-state rivalry in Iowa, Iowa State. Obviously, I think actually Iowa even has some gambling problems too. But I know Iowa State has had a ton of players suspended or disciplined for gambling problems. Um, Let me see. I think even Iowa. Yeah, both even Iowa has had some gambling problems. So but this is an interesting game as both of these teams are dealing with gambling issues, but Iowa State doesn't have as much left as Iowa does. Plus, the Hawkeyes also have Cade McNamara, which I just like better. And also, their backup quarterback is a 6'3", 258-pound quarterback. So, if they don't have Cade McNamara, I think their quarterback could just run somebody over if he wanted. Their backup quarterback could just run somebody over if he wanted to. So I don't care if he even has an arm. Just he can just run through any defensive end he wanted to. I mean, 258, that is a defensive end. Just insane that there's a quarterback that's that big. But yeah, give me the Hawkeyes in this one. And yeah, Srbensky has the same thing. He has Iowa on the road taking down Iowa State in the battle of the Iowa teams. A big game that will be. Next, we have number 20 Ole Miss going on the road to take on number 24 Tulane. Big game for Tulane. They won last week, and Ole Miss had an offensive explosion last week. I think they're still going to win this one. It is a road game, which will make this game really fun. I think this is one to see. There's a lot of good games at 3:30 because, I mean, Iowa State, Tulane, Ole Miss. This game, these are all 3:30 games right here. and that doesn't even account for I think some of the other ones that are also at 3:30. There's a good list of 3:30 games this week, so uh, there'll be a lot to flip between for sure. Well, those are actually the three main games that are really good at 3:30. Not really much else to see. But those are gonna be some really good games. All those. But yeah, Ole Miss, I think though this is gonna be a really good game. Tulane's got a big opportunity to make a statement, and Ole Miss has a chance to have a good, nice win. So should be very competitive. But I got the Rebels with the win on the road. That is what Serbenski has as well. He has Ole Miss getting the win on the road against Tulane. Now we have the big game of the week, of course. Number 11 Texas on the road against number 3 Alabama. Huge game for both of these teams, especially if you're Texas. You had this team last year and you were this close to beating them, but you lost Quinn Ewers. Not even halfway through the game. You had to throw in Hudson Card, and you nearly beat them with Hudson Card, but you fell by one. You lost 2019. Now you have Quinn Ewers healthy again. You don't have your running backs anymore. Bijan Robinson, Roshan Johnson, both have gone out the window. They've both moved on to the NFL. But you still have Xavier Worthy. But you still have Quinn Ewers. You have better defensive players. This is a team that I think they're going to score their points against Alabama. I think Texas is going to put up points. Question is, can Bama respond? This game is going to be dependent on one player and one player alone, and that is Jalen Milroe. If Milroe balls out, Bama wins this game. Thing is, I don't think he will. We saw Jalen Milroe. I mean, I think if Bama wins this game, Milroe is going to have a career game. Now, I mean, he had a great game against Mid Tennessee State. That's also Mid Tennessee State. He needs to have that same kind of effectiveness against Texas. I don't know if Jalen Milroe can do that because we saw him do this last year when he had to start against Texas A&M, and that did not go well, and he looked bad. So maybe with another year of experience, maybe he has gotten a little better, but he's gonna have to pray he got better. And honestly, I don't know if he is. I think this is another flip a coin game. But I like Texas in the upset. I'm going with the Longhorns. I know a lot of people are going to be like, I'm crazy. But listen to me. Texas has talent, man. I know people are going to say you're crazy. They always say they're back, yada, yada, yada. Look, they actually have talent. They actually are good. Are they going to win a championship? I wouldn't say that. But I think Bama's not as good as I think people think. They're still really good, and we'll have to see. But this is the real test for Jalen Milroe, and I mean, this is gonna be a real test for me too. I don't know much about Milroe, but I saw him play once against Texas A&M. He did not look good. Sure, he looked good against Mid Tennessee State, but that's Mid Tennessee State. Is there a good chance Bama still wins this game? Absolutely. It's in Tuscaloosa. But Texas nearly won this game last year with a backup, and that was against Bryce Young. I think Texas has a very good chance of winning it, and I think they pull it off. I think they get the upset and get their season started off with a massive win on the road. Serbenski has Alabama, and I mean that makes sense. I went with the aggressive pick. Swabanski's going with the safe one. That's smart. So that's all I got for this video, and that's all for the picks. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week for college football. And until next time, adios, everyone.